my namesake, Seun Kentebe. Seun is an actor, a content producer, and he has appeared in several Nollywood movies, including 93 Days, Little Drops of Happiness, and he has also performed at renowned venues like Terra Culture at the Museum Center, done a lot of stage plays. Seun, you're welcome to today's show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, let's start this way. Nollywood. How did Nollywood start for you?
Nollywood started for me 2003, about. Before then, it was undergraduate days, Unilag. I joined the theatre troupe at the time.
What's the name of the theatre group?
Cypress Associates.
Oh, okay.
It was run by Kari Peters and Babiola Aloba.
Okay, I thought it was Theatre
15.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was supposed to join Theatre 15, but it's a long story.
Yeah, I know Teju, Babyface,
Teju, Derile,
Bengadenka, Tokumbo Afikuyomi, and the rest. Yeah.
They were all Theatre 15 alumni. Well, they are anyway. So, but I couldn't join because of some reasons.
Okay.
Like I said, long story. So I ended up joining Cypress Associates instead. And then Twilight Zone is still part of Nollywood because it was a TV series that aired 2001 as well. So yeah, I would say Twilight Zone was my foray into Nollywood.
Was it intentional, or were you just going where the tides took you?
It was more of going where the tides took me.
Okay.
Because as far back as primary school, my very first introduction to the world of acting was a play that we were co-opted into. Not because we wanted to do it, but it was kind of compulsory. The play was The Incorruptible Judge. And it was more like a sent forth for the outgoing primary 5 students at the time. Fast forward, after that, secondary school, I had no interaction with acting whatsoever in the world of entertainment, save for films and the like. And then when I got into Unilag, a friend of mine told me about this audition. Then I was pursuing a musical career. I used to rap back in the day. And so she got the form and we were supposed to audition. I didn't know what that meant, but I was put through, and Biola and KP were there at the panel. So 3 of us got there, we auditioned. There was Diri, Ayo, who's late now, and then myself. When we got there, we auditioned, we failed the audition because we didn't know what we were doing. But what stood out for Biola was the fact that I could rap. So he said, okay, come on board, you shall use that one as an opportunity to absorb us in, and then he said we're going to teach us the rudiments of stagecraft, which would help. You know, of course, a musician also needs to know stagecraft. Yeah. So we said, okay, no problem, we got it. And at the time, I was also involved in a program at Sports Center, which kicked off at 4 p.m. It was martial arts, Shotokan karate at the time. So most times once we're done with lectures, we go to the cold room, and then we'd learn stagecraft, and then I was always checking the time. So once it's 4 p.m., I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to dash, I have to get to Sports Center. I saw KP one day stopped me and asked, where do you keep going? I said, I'm training at Sports Center. Are you training for an event? I said, no, it's just, for physical fitness and everything. I said, okay, why not learn this first? Okay. See it through. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, no problem. So I thought about it. I was like, okay, no problem, it's fine. I had lost weight at the time, so I was like, okay, no problem, I can hack it. And then I started off as a stage manager. So we're preparing for a particular play called Double Jeopardy. It was supposed to be staged at Queen's College at the time. And then the lead actor traveled out of Lagos. He had a show in Calabar. But by some miscalculation, he now realized he was going to show up after the event. He thought he was going to come in. He was going to come into town before the event. So we had to find a lead actor. And KP said, you're playing it. I'm like, how? He said, you know the lines. You're the stage manager. I said, yes, I have the lines. I have the block. Yeah. So this time around, you're not just knowing the lines. You have to memorize the lines and get into character. You saw how you did it, Abby. Do just make it your own. And I had less than a week to get into character and know my lines. But it worked out well in the end, and that was when I got introduced to Twilight Zone. And like they say, the rest is history.
Take you a bit away from that. You have been very vocal about marriage. we talk about marriage. Many people in limelight don't necessarily like to talk about their marriages or marriage in general. That's a subject they avoid. But you have been very vocal about it. Why?
I like to be as real as possible. Because most times when I'm not on set, I hang out with my wife. We go to see the movies and everything. And people see us together. I'm wearing the ring. It's not something that is not information that should be hidden.
Okay.
So when I get the opportunity to talk about marriage, because these days entertainment and marriages are seen as polar opposites. The rate of divorce, and once divorce is mentioned, is almost synonymous with actors. And so this is my own opportunity of trying to make people understand that, look, you can be an actor and still run a successful home. So that's why I try as much as possible to be vocal about marriage and the good sides of marriage.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read out a tweet that you put out on January 10, 2021. You put out a tweet and you said, 7 years in, and my mom still don't like my wife. I've accepted my fate. We move. But a few days later, you put another one and said, I would like to add that my tweet was not in any way meant to demonize my mom. She's a sweet soul. I've realized it's a firstborn son problem. Some mothers have a hard time letting go of their first sons, and that is the hand I've been dealt. Thanks. Till she comes around, I'll keep managing the situation. So that's 2021. This is 2024. So as she come around now, and then do you want to tell us why you put her? What
created that particular situation? Caused it to put it out there.
Okay, so growing up, my mom and I had a bittersweet relationship. We are alike in a lot of ways. Say for the fact that I have my father's face, I think I took her height, I took her complexion, and I took a bit of her character. So yes, like you say, like terms repel. And then growing up, becoming independent, looking to chart my own course, she was supportive in certain ways. And then when it came to the issue of marriage, of course, like I said, the firstborn syndrome would come up. Oh, this woman is not good enough for my son. This woman is not good enough for my son. And there's this Yoruba saying that if you keep saying this particular firewood is not good, how are you going to make, how are you going to cook at the end of the day? So it took a lot of. I'm grateful for my siblings. I have older siblings who were very supportive. I have a lot of relatives who were very supportive, and they sat her down and said, "Look, this is who this man has chosen. You can't choose a wife for him. You can't marry him. He has to, at some point, find his own path. And even if you don't respect it, even if you don't understand it, you need to respect it. He's making a decision. What you can do is pray and guide and pray that his decision doesn't fall flat at the end of the day." And yeah, she thought about it. We had a baby recently 2 months ago. She was around, she prayed for. Thank you. She was around, she was very supportive, and yeah. Now, so back then, she has come around, basically. Now, when I put that tweet out, at the time, and this might sound ironic, I didn't understand the power of social media. Because, this is me that I'll usually put out the tweet, and the highest likes I've got to maybe like 20, 30 likes. So I didn't really see it as anything. Okay, this is something I'm going to, because yes, there was a situation that happened that led to my pointing it out.
Do you want to share?
I'd rather not, because I don't want to lick old wounds. But and then I woke up the next day to calls, text messages from family. What did you do? What did you do? Why did you? What did I do? Your tweet went viral. Which tweet? And then I went to X and I see, I'm like, Jesus, this is not what I had in mind. But it had its good sides and has its bad sides, because for that period I became quote unquote a celebrity, an overnight celebrity. A lot of interviews, a lot of DMs, people pouring out their minds saying they were going through the same thing. So in a sense, it kind of it didn't have its advantages. And then of course I was advising people.
So you
turned a marriage counselor.
Marriage counselor at some point. And yeah.
Do you think it helped, that popularity helped your career in any way? Somewhat. Okay. Somewhat, of course. It is. I got some calls from some producers, but then
It started becoming uncomfortable because most times when you get on set, people are looking at you, that's that guy that his mom doesn't like his wife. And then they're coming to meet you. Sometimes you just want to be in your personal space, you're trying to get into character, and they're coming to meet you and they're like, bros, I take Duam. This was going on in my house. This was going on in my house. And you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Can we talk later? Let's concentrate on this first.
Now, let me ask you, I see that you have a way of getting into big projects. I see you've done 93 days. I've seen that you get into. How does that happen? Is it that you are very choosy about the kind of production you get through, or you just get that call?
So for me, it's I think it's a bit of both. There are times I'm choosy. Once I read the script, I ask the necessary questions. Is this something? Does it jump at me? Is it something I want to be a part of? And of course, there are times you take some jobs because bills have to be paid. But on the overall, it's basically about being selective and at the same time just casting bread in waters. You go for your auditions, you send your audition tapes. Sometimes I get calls. I mean, I've been in the business for quite a while, so I'm grateful for the network that I've been able to build over time. So there are times I get recurring calls from producers I've worked with before, from other producers who have been recommended to, and the like.
Now, another thing I want to ask. Your name is Seun Kentebe, and I think you said you're from Bayelsa.
Yes.
So how does that, tell us how that happens?
Okay, so the name Seun Kentebe was how do I put it? It was a happy accident. I used to go by William Kentebe. That's my English name, but I buried it a long time ago. And it was up until, I think, university that I discovered my Ijaw side. So I went back to my birth certificate and I saw the name there, like, oh, so I'm actually Ijaw. And I'm half Yoruba, but most times I've been identified as Yoruba because I grew up in Lagos. I lived with my mom. I speak, Yoruba and everything. And so what led to Seun Kentebe was there was also that period where everyone wanted to identify with their country, and so having an English name was weird, And there was an audition I went for with like 5, candidates, and each person kept mention an English name with their surname. You had people from River State, from Port Harcourt, and most of them bear English names and the like. Even their surnames are English. So the people on the panel were like, so when the second guy mentioned his name, I said, where are you from? And the guy said, he's from Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt. Don't you have like an indigenous name? And he said, no, that's the name he goes by. And every other person. So I was scared. So when it gets my turn, I put it in my head that when it gets my turn, this is what I'm going to say. So when it got to my turn, I go, okay, what's your name? I go, Seun Kentebe. And then the guy looks at me and goes, okay, this is another level of confusion. Where are you from? And then I was like, okay, so I'm Ijaw, but my mom's Yoruba. And then the guy, okay, cool, not bad. And it stuck. So I now use that as an opportunity to rebrand myself. Going out, I'm now known as Seun Kentebe. I'm known as Seun Kentebe. And then, of course, something else happened. There was someone that came home to see me because back in I started out my year one. I started out using William. Okay. So some friends paid a surprise visit to the house, and so my mom, they would like to see William. And my mom doesn't call me by William; she calls me Seun. So she goes, "Who's William?" She says, "William Kentebe. He's in Unilag." Like, oh, okay, Seun, why? And then, my friend, Seun, okay, are you Yoruba? I'm like, no, well, I'm half Yoruba. And then going to school the next day, they stopped calling me William. It just stopped. Seun, how you doing now? Seun, how you doing? And I found out that it made me a lot more relatable. So it just stuck. Like I said, a happy accident.
Okay. So as an actor from two different cultures, how do you marry that into the roles the stories that you want to tell now?
So I see myself as detribalized. I think it's been there from the outset. My dad is Ijaw, my mom's Yoruba, I have a wife who is half Igbo, half Seychelles. I have Muslim relatives, you know. So basically, I see myself as a Nigerian, first and foremost. And then what interests me is for each character I play, I try as much as possible to identify with that person's culture, with those person's traditions, those person's beliefs. So if I'm playing an Igbo person, I might not necessarily have a thick Igbo accent. Or if I play the Hausa person, or if it's required that I do, no problem. But I also would like to chip in one or two things to make people look at the character and say, okay, this isn't Seun playing Usman. This is actually Usman while watching.
Have you ever dabbled into Yoruba films?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I would love to, but the opportunity hasn't presented itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, in rounding up, how do you cope? A lot of people find Nollywood as something that is very time consuming. It's not like when you do your normal 9 to 5, you understand. You're a family man, and do you do any other thing apart from Nollywood?
Yes, of course. So, okay, let's keep the creatives aside. I also sell cars. I'm into real estate at the same time. My wife and I have a joint business where we do bed sheets, curtains, and the like.
Oh, okay. So how do you cope? How are you able to put all this together with your timing? Do you have a particular period of times that no matter what, you don't work? Particularly, I know some actors who will tell you that on Sundays I don't work unless it's very important. Do you have things like that to be able to bond with the family?
What I think stage kind of disabused my mind to the concept of having rest days, because there are times we have shows on Sundays. Yeah. And then, you can't go to church, or I'm not the kind of person that would like to go for an early morning service. I'd rather go for a 10 a.m. service, and then your call time is 12, and you have to be there before 12. So the chances of you even leaving church before 12 are slim. So I'd rather not go to church, So that's, like I said, has disabused my mind. If I'm going to work Monday to Sunday, let me not working Monday to Sunday. But then what I do is I give myself, once I'm done with that set, I don't juggle 2 jobs back to back. So there's a rest period before I go on to the next set. And that period is what I use to bond with family and what I use to engage in other business.
All right, Seun, thank you so much for coming. I know that 1 or 2 people have learned some things from what you've told us today. And I feel that the next time when we call you, maybe you have a bigger project or something, you will oblige us by coming. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Love to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks. This has been the program today. From me and Tommy, we say thank you. We hope that next week you tune in again when we bring in another interesting guest. Till then, keep watching Nollywood movies.